Hi everybody. I haven't done a human design read with cards before. Today I felt like it was time to come out and share my talents of human design and do a card reading with my quantum human design cards. So before I start, I'm going to be using this book as a guide. I know it says it's backward, but it's quantum activation cards. So it's a companion guidebook, and it's by Karen Curry Parker. The reason why I really like her stuff is because she teaches with such integrity, and she encourages people to go out and find who matches them for their human design reads. She has no point of view about whether you stick with her teachings or someone else's. There are so many teachers out there right now who are teaching human design, and they are quite talented, and I like to think I'm one of them. I know that I've only taken level 1, but that doesn't matter. Innately, I know what I know. It's kind of interesting because the first 2 cards are kind of stuck together. And so anyway, I've pulled 5 cards. And before I do any sort of reading on anything, I want you to be aware that no matter what I read about in my cards to human design, we all have the whole chart. Whether it is in the lines or the centers, and whether they are filled in or whether they're not, they all activate depending on who you are around, depending on the circumstances that you find yourself in, and all of that plays an important part in how your human design plays out in your life. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 centers. And in some people's charts, like the reflectors, all of their centers are open. So that means that they are essentially a mirror that reflects back everything. So it intensifies what is being said and done with those centers being completely open. Now, typically the open centers are also known as the ones that hold shadows. Now, for me, all of my centers are filled in except for my throat and my identity center. Now, both of those are, you have it like the chakra centers where you have your head and your anja are in your head, and then you have your throat, and then you have your heart, and then you have your will center, and all your centers just kind of like line up with your chakra centers. Off gate number 7, it's the collaboration gate, and it's off of the G center, which is the identity center. So I'll quickly show you what that looks like. The identity center is yellow, so it reflects the yellow chakra in the chakra system. The gate 8 is off of the throat center, and it's the center of fulfillment. The gate 53, which is the starting one, and it's off of the root. Gate 40, ooh, look at that. I got more cards than I thought I did. Gate 41 is the imagination gate, and it's also off of the root. Gate 42 is the conclusion gate, and it's off the sacral. And gate 27, the very last card, is off the sacral as well, and it's the accountability one. So if you have the ability to print off your human design chart and you're looking at it and you're going, well, I have none of those gates, none of this affects me. Like I said earlier, whether you have it or not, you are influenced by people that do have it, and you can borrow the energy and you can experience the energy. So we all have all of the lines and all the centers that get activated, especially when the sun goes into different areas, as all of our charts are affected by the planetary system as well, and all of our charts are affected by our north nodes, our Chiron, and like I said, all the planets. So I'm going to quickly give you a summary of what each of these say, and take it or leave it, whatever aligns with you or resonates with you. This is entertainment only, and I'll put that in the comment section. This is just for you to take what resonates and leave whatever doesn't behind. A challenge with the gate number 7, which is the collaboration gate, is to master, to be in front of and allow yourself, through building teams and collaborating and influencing the figurehead of leadership, to be at peace with serving a leader and to be part of the team of collaboration. To recognize the voice of the leader is only as strong and powerful as the support that he or she receives. So whether you're in a group and you're leading or following, you're all in the team together, and maybe it's your turn to follow and maybe it's your turn to lead. And collaboration doesn't mean that you're going to be left behind. Collaboration hopefully means that you get to experience what another leader might introduce as new ideas, new experiences, and it might be really interesting for you to learn from a different perspective. An unbalanced expression of this center, or this gate number 7, is to struggle and fight to be seen at the cost of your own energy and fulfillment of your purpose. So if you're finding yourself struggling, check in and see what your struggle is. Are you struggling to be seen? Do you feel like you're not being seen right now? Because really, if you're not being seen by others, that's a mere reflection of you not seeing yourself. If you don't see yourself, no one else can see you. The resiliency keys is where you get to check in with your lovability, your decisiveness, your level of courage, and your authenticity with each of these gates. Gate number 8 is off of your throat. It's to learn how to express yourself with authenticity. As when you use your voice, that's how you speak your truth. Are you speaking your truth? Or are you regurgitating the truth that you hear around you? Because the truth be told, a lot of people just repeat what they hear. And the programming of the society is they repeat what they hear. They don't think for themselves. It takes a lot of courage to think for yourself and speak your own truth, no matter how it shows up. The mastery of this is to push past the boundaries of the authentic expression and make sure that you are expressing your authentic self. When you're feeling unbalanced and disconnected from your life purpose, you might be feeling panicked and trying to force. So check in. Are you forcing shit? Or are you allowing it to happen for you? This thing should be easy. Life should be easy. People make it really hard. An affirmation that you can say for yourself is, I'm devoted to the full expression of who I am. You don't have to fight or prove or defend your life. You are here, you exist because you are love. Gate 53 is the next gate. It is in the root. The challenge is to respond to opportunities. Now, if you're a generator or an alchemist like myself, then our whole thing is responding and alchemizing. Now, if you're also like me and I'm an emotional generator or emotional alchemist, I take time to learn to what to respond to, because it might not be something I should be responding to. And no response is a response. And we don't owe anybody a response. So, like the word on the bottom of here, it says starting. And to respond, it's like setting the stage for the manifestation before it becomes a reality. Really, manifestation is, how are you in alignment for what you're asking for? Because everything is around you to manifest, but are you in alignment to receive it? That's the question. Are you capable of receiving it? Or do you have your hand tightly closed and you're like, what the fuck? Why am I not seeing this happen? Well, you have to open your hand to receive. And sometimes when you have an unhealthy root chakra, you haven't discerned what to receive. Discernment is huge. You might be like a sieve or a strainer where you're receiving everything and you're not discerning what to receive and what not to. Sometimes that water has to go through the sieve or the strainer because not everything is meant to be received by you. Not everything is for you. And everything happens for you. Yes, I get that part. But what are you responding to? Like, working against divine timing is like getting into a canoe and deciding you're going to paddle against the flow. And you're going to work so hard against the stream of the flow of the water. You're going to get so tired. Why not turn around and go with the flow? Like, don't go into like a waterfall situation because it's flowing. Like, use your discernment there. You have a brain for a reason. If you're constantly thinking to yourself, I gotta force it to happen, you're missing the point. You really are. If you're reacting to the pressure to get things started, or you're feeling like you're a failure because you're not seeing anything happen, you're not. The truth is, this is what I've learned, because everything is an illusion around you. You get to define yourself and give meaning to everything. So if you look at failure and think think you are a failure because things aren't happening around you, then you're giving meaning to something that isn't necessarily true. How can you redefine that? What if it's a simple shift of responding to this failure, or so-called failure, and calling it an experience? What is this experience showing you? And when you have like it being in your roots, that's where a lot of the common traumas happen, and they get stored in your root. So you feel like stuck because it's in your root. And until you heal your traumas that are stuck in your root, you're going to respond to everything as if you are a failure, and it's not true. At least that's my experience. You can take it or leave it. Gate 41 is next. It's also off your route. And that one has to do with your imagination. It's to learn to use your imagination. Like, what is it that you want? We're unlimited now. The cap has been taken off your level of manifestation, or what I mean to change it to is alignment. What is it that you want to align to? Go with your greatest imagination. When we're kids, we had imagination. There was nothing that we couldn't see or do because we could imagine it happening. And somehow life tarnishes us and we stop using our imagination. And we stop playing. And we stop being creative. How do you want to use your imagination? What is it that maybe someone told you you couldn't do? My greatest achievements have always been doing something that someone said I couldn't do. And when someone tells me that I can't do it, I look at them and I smile and I walk away and I think to myself, you don't know me. There's oftentimes it's them projecting their insecurities and their lack of imagination on you and their tarnished, wounded self on you because they don't want to heal themselves, and that's where their pain resides, and they can see that you are achieving what you want to do because you're imagining things, getting in alignment for it, asking for it, and It's showing up just like magic. Wow. So the mastery is to use your imagination to generate the ideas to create new abundance. When you're finding that you're fixating on worst case scenarios, try and give the best case scenario as much time as you've given the worst case scenario. We've been programmed to have so much self-doubt because we were supposed to just be yes people and do what we were told and not question the system. Well, surprise, surprise, that's the Piscean age, and it's no more. We're in the age of Aquarius, where the dreams can come true and the flow can happen. So acknowledge to yourself that you're a creative nexus of inspiration. Acknowledge that you have ideas and new possibilities that are within you. Acknowledge that you're powerful and that you're a creator, because you are. Everywhere that the next gate is number 42, and that's off your sacral. So if you have a defined sacral like I do, and like manifesting generators do, because we're the only two groups that have defined sacrals, try not to come to conclusion about things, because conclusion means that you're shutting the door on it. There's all sorts of possibilities. People like to think that if you aren't getting anywhere within 30 seconds, it's not going to happen. Give the universe a little bit of time to align with you. Like not manifestation, alignment happens so much quicker now when we get out of the way of ourselves. We're our own worst enemies. But also learn to conclude and walk away from things that are not serving you. If you find that you're like I'm imagining a truck that's stuck in a rut, and it's like a muddy rut, and it's wet mud, and it's like spinning its tires, and it can't get out. And then all of a sudden, you just turn a tire just a little bit, and you're able to get the grip and get out. Sometimes that's what's necessary. Sometimes you are supposed to quit. Quitting is not wrong. Walking away from something that is not serving you is not wrong. Staying stuck and trying to force it to work hurts you and wastes a lot of time. You might have a lot of pressure to get started, but you might also have a lot of pressure to finish things. Examine where the pressure is coming from. Does it align with you? Is it resonant with you? If not, then walk away. You don't have to force anything. It's like that old saying, when you force shit, you get more shit. You don't want shit. Unless you're constipated, then you do. Now, the last one is gate 27. And it's also off the sacral. accountability. I know for myself, I really love the fact that I have a coach that I'm accountable to. And I've learned so much about myself because when I have my coaching sessions, I do the work. And it showed me a lot about my shadows and where I needed to work on things and what was stuck with me and how it was stuck and how to override it so that I wouldn't spiritually override things. There's a lot of people will go into it and they'll override something thinking that they don't really need to work on it because it's somebody else's. Well, it'll show up another way. As when you override things will come back around and they'll show up in another way for you to work through it again. And it might not be as comfortable as the first time. But that's life. So the accountability one is to care without over-caring. And for me, as an empath, to care without over-caring, that's huge. Care without taking on someone else's stuff as my own is big. As I used to take on other people's stuff so easily because I didn't have something called boundaries. And then all of a sudden when I got boundaries, the people that used to use me as a dumping ground got mad because all of a sudden it seemed like I didn't care. But what happened was I cared more about myself and less about being the dumping ground. Or, as I've learned more recently, the kinder way of putting it, the CEO of the universe, I'm not responsible for other people's stuff. I'm just not. Are you like how I was and how I'm still in some ways until I check it out and find out whether, is this really mine? Do I need to pick this up? Question yourself a little bit. It's okay. And don't let guilt, because that's a good thing that somebody will manipulate with, especially if they're used to you picking up their stuff and trying to fix it for them. They'll use the guilt because it used to work, and all of a sudden it doesn't because you instilled your own boundaries, which is okay. The ability to nurture and lift other people up is kindness, but if it's at the detriment of your own self, is it really a kindness? If you are giving to the last drop of your cup that isn't full, and you're not giving from your full and overflowing saucer, you are not serving anybody at all. You're actually harming people, especially yourself. And as a generator and an alchemist, this is a big thing for us to learn, is where to draw that line. How is this serving me to help them? The unbalanced expression often leads into codependency. You don't want codependency. You want to create an environment of interdependency where there isn't a dependency on either side. You co-create together, you work together, and you're not codependent on the other person to do something for you because you know within yourself that you can do it. You can achieve it. The affirmation starts out by saying, I am nurturing and have a loving nature. It is my gift to be able to love and care for others. Yes, it absolutely is a gift to love and care for others. But the drawback and the discerning piece is love and care for others without creating a codependency situation and without creating a circumstance where the other person feels helpless without your support, because that's not what you want to do. You're here to support. Help implies that they can't help themselves, which is not true. When you're working as a coach, when you're working as a coach, you want to make sure that you're coaching somebody so that they can do this themselves and get past things themselves and have those exciting moments where they realize within themselves that they did it and they should be proud of themselves that they overcame that circumstance, that trauma, that situation. So I hope that this reading brought you some clarity about your chart. And if it didn't, and if you have questions, reach out because I'd love to work with you. I love human design, especially my quantum human design. I love to read charts. I love to give guidance. I love to provide support. I love to show where your talents lie, as that's where my talents are hidden as well. And when I can reflect back to you how amazing you are, it shines back at me how amazing I am. And that is a gift to me as well as a gift to you, and it's a gift to the world.